Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm all right. Loving the summer. UK summer is fantastic.
Mm. Yes, just for a bit of context, listener, it's the 9th of July and it's been pissing it down all day.
Yeah,
I had
and we were we
to.
were on we were on holiday last week in Cornwall, me and the family,
Yes.
and it felt like October.
You were camping, yes, of course.
Yeah,
How
mostly
how
felt like
was your holiday though?
it was lovely. It was nice and chilled and Cornish. Um,
What does that mean?
there was some pixies and some pasties and some. There wasn't any cider because we don't
No,
drink.
not alcohol-free cider.
Uh, Apple juice. No, I just didn't really bother. But it was lovely. It's beautiful, beautiful part of the country. Just the
Yes.
weather was a bit naff.
Yes.
Whatever,
Whatever.
whatever. People keep
Yeah.
eating meat and dairy. What do they expect?
They expect nothing to change. They expect everything to change, but without changing anything themselves.
Exactly, and that gets us nowhere. But what do we
Yeah.
know?
Well, exactly.
How are you?
We're
You
just
good?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks very much. I'm all right. I had I had COVID 2 weeks ago. That was a bit retro. Bit of a
Oh,
blast from the
that's
past.
nice.
Yeah, it was just like the old days.
was
Eh.
it bad?
No, not really. I had a couple of days. I had a cough. It sort of started on I think it was like probably on a Thursday or Friday, and then by sort of Monday, I was feeling like I was swallowing glass every time I tried to swallow or eat anything. And then I had a
Right.
couple of days where I felt a bit kind of almost like spaced out, a bit weird.
Mm,
And then it just sort of went away.
yeah. You know
Um,
what you want to do?
but I didn't have
Stop
any time
eating.
off work.
You want to stop eating glass.
Well, yes, but it was vegan glass, so
Fair enough.
you
That's
know,
all right, then, isn't
yeah.
it?
I didn't have any time off work or anything. I made sure to keep going in to infect as many people as possible.
100%. Why not?
Um, yeah, no, that's a joke, listener. That's a joke. I didn't have any time off because we don't have to, but I didn't feel sick enough to have time off. But,
No,
I was still able to do my job,
no.
so it was all fine. All
Um,
fine.
I don't. I've got
Good.
some news. I don't know how true this is. Um,
Ooh.
the wife just told me she'd heard on
Ooh.
the news grapevine. So this might be nonsense. We don't know for sure. It's not been verified. Apparently, the
Yeah.
NHS are talking about putting corn into their meals to try and help people get healthier.
Wow.
Everyone's gone. I'm not doing that because it just feels like you're trying to secretly make me vegetarian.
Brilliant. Oh, the snowflake brigade will go nuts at that.
They will.
The NHS has gone woke.
Yeah, yeah. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah.
Imagine trying. I mean, corn's not going to make you healthy, but whatever.
No,
Imagine trying to be healthier while in hospital.
I know. Imagine it always used to amaze me, and they've stopped it now. But you used to go to a hospital, and I used to do hospital radio back in the day, and you'd go to the hospital, and there'd be people smoking outside the
No,
doors. You'd
that
be like,
hasn't
"What
stopped.
the hell are you
That
doing?"
hasn't stopped. Look, in my job, I go to the hospital
Oh yeah.
every week. They're always out there. It's insane.
You're like, wake up!
Yeah,
Look at what you're doing, and look at where you are. Come
yeah,
off it.
exactly. Yeah, I'm not giving up my fags. Not giving up my
No.
fags to anyone. I might be dying, but fuck them. Yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
mate.
that's hilarious. It's absolutely
We're probably going
insane.
to get a load of complaints. Maybe this is the year we just get a shit ton of complaints.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. It just means people are listening, so we'll have it.
We'll take it as a positive.
Well, I'm very excited about our guest, Wes,
Okay.
because we keep having people mention people that you've heard of
Yeah.
from the metal genre, and
Yeah.
you've been to some of the gigs of people and you've heard of them, and you and the guest always very much like, oh yeah, I know so and so, they did this and all that.
Yeah.
Well, now it's my turn because
Brilliant.
I've searched high and low, and since we started doing this podcast 2 and a bit years ago, I've been trying to find a vegan country music artist who I can invite on to marry up two things that I am interested in, veganism and country music. So at long last, we've finally got not something that they call me at work, but very close to it, a vegan country music star.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very exciting.
Wow.
So good. It's all good. It's all good. So if you're a vegan country music star or a vegan metal musician, or you're just a vegan, why don't you give us a shout? And
What was the most tenuous thing ever?
been planning that all day. No, yeah. If you're just if you want to say hello, or if you want to come and join us in the autumn, then why not send us a message on Instagram? Probably is the best place. Or what else?
Well, you can email us at howiveganpodcast@gmail.com. But Instagram's probably the better place.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a quicker response on Instagram. But why don't you send one message on both and see which one get answered first?
Yeah. There you go.
Our guest is in the lobby. Shall we let them in?
Go on then. Something to do, innit?
Let's go.
There's nothing better than a hunk of prime Labrador steak, wonderfully marbled. And that is almost entirely dependent on how it's produced. Elwood's Organic Dog Meat has complete control of this entire journey. So I'm here at Elwood's farm to find out a little more about it.
Welcome to Elwood Farms.
Thank you very much, Elwood.
I hear you do a bit of barbecuing.
I do a little bit of barbecuing every now and then, yes. From a chef's point of view, consistency is key for everything.
It doesn't matter if it's a Rottweiler ribeye, a Pyrenees mince, or a lab sirloin.
You can always tell when the dog comes from a place where it was well reared. And every step has to be right, doesn't it? Oh, you should see these guys. So, from an Elwood's point of view, there's complete traceability.
Absolutely. Unrivaled traceability, so it's fine.
Every single piece of dog meat.
Yeah, from pub to farmer's market.
Everything the dog's been fed.
Everything about it.
For each dog.
Yeah, only Marks and Spencer's and Whole Foods do this.
Where else can people order from?
From elwooddogmeat.com. That's ELWOOD dogmeat.com.
For top quality meat from dogs for people. Meat that's local, sustainable, and humanely harvested. There's only Elwood's Organic Dog Meat. They seem pretty friendly, don't they? They're more responsive to me than my kids, to be honest.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, here he is.
How are you?
Look at that! Look at that guitar wall.
I am fine now that you have one of the most beautiful beards I've ever seen.
Well, thank you, my friend. As do you.
Yeah, mine's not like that.
We're in.
Same.
I don't know what order your screens are in, but ours go from short, medium, long on my screen. Our beards. We're 3 bearded men here.
The progression of the facial hair.
Yeah, exactly. Full beard progression there. I love it.
You've got more on top, though, than us, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
that's true. You got more on top than us combined, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll hope it stays around for a little while.
Yes. Yeah. No, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Anyway, welcome, Dylan. Thanks for,
Hey, thank you guys.
for joining us.
How you doing?
Good, thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Good.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome.
Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to get a guest. Okay. Country music is the fastest growing genre in the UK at the moment. Songs by country artists hitting the charts and radio playlists. And major country stars like Carly Pearce have tours planned here in the next 12 months. And despite protests from my wife and kids, you can normally hear it in my house or car. Our guest is a rising country star. He grew up in Washington State and has found his way to Nashville, Tennessee. His new single, American Nights, was released just before Independence Day, or as we call it over here, Ungrateful Colonials Day. Of course, you can find it on all good streaming platforms, and we'll link to it in the show notes. We're looking forward to hearing 3 Chords and the Truth from our guest, Dylan Jakobsen. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me here. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we are very good. Dylan, one of us is a country music fan and one is a metal fan.
I love the metal too. I grew up in Washington, 90s grunge, that's what I grew up on. I feel like there's a little bit of that metal in there too. I love everything, and I think that's what makes music so special is especially in today's day and age, genre I feel like has intertwined it. So like all the different genres, everyone's just taking their influences and just rolling with it, which I think is so fun. Yeah.
You can definitely see that with, Beyonce had that big album earlier this year, and people like Jelly Roll and Keith Urban, definitely massive influences from other genres in their country music, if you like.
I feel like we've been seeing it a lot this year. It's the thing to do right now, country music. But yeah, it's been fun. Country music is to me, I didn't grow up on it per se. I grew up as a rock and roll. I wanted to grow up and be a rock star. But I think what made me fall in love with country music when I was a kid, growing up, like hearing it for the first time, was the songwriting. And it's the songwriting aspect and the storytelling is something that is kind of unparalleled, I feel like, in other genres. That's really what drew me in, and maybe it's what's going to draw our metalhead in here too.
You never know. I love like yourself. I love all sorts of music. I'm from jazz to classical to metal to pop to hip hop and whatever it is. I'll listen to it. If it's good, happy days, and if it's crap, see you later.
Yeah,
I'll listen to everything.
That's exactly how it should be.
Yeah,
you either like it or you don't. And
And you can only appreciate the good by listening to the crap, can't you? So.
Yeah, that's it.
Amen.
Yes, that's it. So yeah, I was going to ask Dylan, how did you go from Washington to Tennessee? What's the journey then? So you said about you grew up with grunge. I'm assuming because obviously Nirvana were Seattle, weren't they? And then you've got I guess the Breeders as well, and my knowledge about ends there, I think.
yeah, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, like all these bands like in the 90s just emerged out of Seattle. And so I grew up on a lot of that stuff. I was born in 93, so music really started striking a chord with me in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And all through school, I was in bands and playing with friends and coming home from school and just writing and recording, as much as I could of learning other people's songs, but also writing and recording my own stuff. And for me, touring was the game plan. Like I wanted to graduate high school and just hit the road. If you know the geography of the U.S., touring out of Washington State, which is in the very top left of the U.S., is a lot less. You have to go a long ways to get to most places. And so we did that for many, many years out of Washington. And then I moved to Nashville in 2019. And it's been great for a number of reasons. We've been able to settle down here and buy a house and really just kind of live off the land out here in Tennessee. But also it's great for touring because pretty much everything's within a day's drive. It's a lot more on the eastern side of the U.S. Everything's a lot more tight knit. You can drive 3 or 4 hours. I know for you guys, it's like 8 hours and you're across the country. But for example, Seattle, which is where I grew up, to San Francisco, that's a 13-hour drive all by itself. So you don't realize it until you do those drives, how long they are. But, on the East Coast, everything's, you could go 3-4 hours and hit another major cities. It's really, really been great for touring. It's been able to make it so when we do hit the road, it's not for extended periods of time. We can stay home for a couple days and then hit the road for the weekend and then be back. So that's been really awesome. And then also, just being surrounded in a musical environment. Nashville's such a music city, not just country, but just music in general. And just kind of surrounding yourself in an environment that makes you thrive musically is it's a great place to be.
It must be really inspiring to have all that going on around you and being in the middle of it.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know if you guys have ever been to Nashville. There is literally, you go downtown and there's music everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And so I think that, whether it's live music or, just songwriting, like everyone in town's, writing songs, and you really see the birth of so much great music here.
It's like a magnet for songwriters, producers.
It really is. Yeah. It's rare you run into someone from Tennessee that is actually from Tennessee. everyone that you meet here is usually from out of state.
Wow. Just except for Kenny Chesney and Kelsey Ballerini, perhaps.
Yeah. It's a rare breed, especially I think it's the fastest growing city in the U.S. They say it's 100 families a day move here.
Wow.
100. Wow. And I heard that statistic 5 years ago. So I don't know where it's at now, but I know that it's growing exponentially. You can definitely see it when you go driving. You get stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
That's the downside.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So, talk us through your latest single, American Nights. Very much in the sort of a summer anthem. I'd kind of say it's that sort of thing you could imagine. Obviously, I'm not an American, but it's the sort of thing you could imagine. People having a party in their garden or whatever.
And it's not necessarily about where you're from. It's about the memories of making the most of those summer months, and looking back. I want to be able to. It's almost like a reminder. The song's almost a reminder for me to make the most of. We're pushing the song right now. Make the most of the summer that we have right now, and I want to look back at it years from now and be like, those were the moments, those were the days, and I think we can all relate to that. Here, oh man, it's scorching hot. We've been going out to the lake and just taking a swim and doing some bonfires at night and just really soaking in time with the ones you love and the puppers and the fur babies and all the animals and just loving life.
That's what it's about.
Yeah,
that's it. It's often you don't realize it's the greatest summer of your life until about 10 or 20 years later, and it's too late.
Yeah. I feel like you blink and so much time has gone by.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, completely.
Okay. What's your songwriting process? Because as someone with absolutely zero musical ability, it always fascinates me how someone can go from humming a tune or having a line of a lyric in their head and then creating a whole 3 or 4 minute song out of it that isn't just nonsense.
I have learned over the years to just, a lot of it becomes from, part of it's continuing to work the songwriting muscle. And so I try to sit down as much as I can to, some days I might have an idea. Some days I might not have an idea, and I'll just sit down and I'm like, I'm just going to see what comes out of me. And I think what holds a lot of people back is feeling like they have to know what they're going to write about, or feeling like it has to go a certain way. I feel like I just kind of let whatever comes out of me and take form. And I'm like, what, this feels, I might not know what I'm saying at the moment right now, but looking back on that song that I'm writing, there might be a deeper meaning that I just don't see right now. And so a lot of it for me is kind of just spontaneously seeing what comes out of me, and knowing that it's not written in permanent ink. I can change it later.
That's true. That's a good point.
As far as like ideas for songs, I get a lot of ideas from, especially in recent years, since 2020, a lot of my music's been about positivity and spreading good vibes and soaking up the most of the time that we have here. It's definitely been a form of therapy for me, but I think I've learned that through music it can heal other people too, and so I think that's a big part of why I continue doing what I do and doing what I love is because I feel like it heals me, and I feel like it heals other people too.
That's cool.
I love that. Yeah. So you mentioned touring in the early days. What's the sort of what's the word? What's the schedule at the moment? Like, it seems to me like some of the country musicians that I follow on Instagram, they're performing almost like day in, day out at various things. No one ever seems to have a day off. I don't get how you get by with that.
Yeah, originally coming from a background of non-country music, I would say touring is usually based around, and this is how I started touring way back in the days, is it was a big clump over, say, a 3-month period where you would be gone like a month to like 3 months at a time, and you weren't home at all. But then, say, the rest of the year you didn't have a tour, and so you were home the other 9 months, and that could be focused on recording and writing and spending time at home. Whereas I've learned the formula for touring in the country world, especially with being in Nashville, everything is within that day's drive. Unless you're going out to the West Coast, everything's pretty much, you can leave, say you're playing on Friday, you could leave Thursday night and you could be in that city for a Friday show. So with that being said, what you're seeing is we're going out on the road Thursday through Sunday, and then we're home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so it's more of a constant, but we're home on a regular basis too, which is nice. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's just a bit more spread out, perhaps.
Yeah. Like I feel like you'll much rarely see a country show on, say, like a Monday or Tuesday. Like most of us, we're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like those weekend shows. I remember like going to concerts on school nights. Like it was like my parents would be like, "Oh, why is the concert on a Tuesday night? You have school in the morning." But yeah, we mostly play on the weekends, I feel like, in the country world.
Okay. And what sort of venues are you in at the moment? It's bars, clubs, that sort of thing?
Yeah,
festivals
it really
in the summer,
depends on the show environment too. Like I do probably about a 50-50 split of playing acoustic shows, like whether it's rounds or like more intimate settings. And in that case, it would be a smaller room. But if we're going out with a band, yeah, it really depends on if we're headlining or if we're supporting somebody else. But we've done small bars to 30,000 when we're opening for somebody else. So it really depends on like I said, I played for one person and I've played for thousands and thousands. Yeah, I've definitely got the far ends of the spectrum on both sides. It's fun. It's fun when you just play for the sound guy.
Yeah. But then you walk out to 30,000 people. That's incredible.
Those are some really incredible moments. Like those are the ones that have stuck with me. Like one of the coolest memories I have is I grew up going to concerts at a place in Washington called the Gorge. And if you aren't familiar with that place, are you guys familiar with Red Rocks in the U.S.?
With what, sorry?
Okay. Red Rocks Amphitheater?
Yes, U2 did an album there, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Live at Red Rocks. Under a Blood Red Sky, was it that one? I can't remember. No.
Yeah.
But they did an
no,
album there, and I know. Yeah, that's a famous venue, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a gorgeous, and I always compare it to Red Rocks because Red Rocks it's a gorgeous outlook. I've never actually been to Red Rocks, but from what I've seen, it's just a absolutely gorgeous outdoor venue. And the Gorge is like Washington's equivalent. Everyone from the northwest of the U.S. knows about the Gorge, and it's one of the most incredible venues I feel like in the world. And I saw Tom Petty there 15 years ago now, and so I grew up seeing shows there, and being able to. We played there in 2015 for a country festival, and that was a really special moment for me because not only is it a prestigious, absolutely serene, gorgeous. It's overlooking on like a gorge going into a river. And there's nothing that surrounds this venue. It's beautiful. Being able to play that in front of thousands and thousands of people is incredible.
Mm-hmm,
in your home state too. So
yeah.
Have you opened for anyone massive?
Yeah, let's see here. Well, who do you guys know? Who country Matthew? What do you listen to?
I mean, my absolute favorite is Carly Pearce, Amanda Lambert.
Yeah. We've done a couple dates with Carly Pearce.
Can you get me? Can you get her on? Can you get on the podcast? I know she's not vegan, but
I'll try to put in the work. That would be amazing. I would love to try to set that up for you. We've also done one that always sticks out to me is we've done a couple dates with like festival dates with Dierks Bentley. He's a big one for me. One of our favorites that we went out on the road with, and he's such a nice guy. I don't know if he's ever made it out to the UK. Is Aaron Watson, one of the best in country music.
Ooh, really?
He's really, really, really great. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, definitely recommend everyone checking him out. He's just, not only is his music great, but he's a really down to earth, kind soul, and he was just so great as an opener out on the road with him. He was just so. A lot of, you never know what you're going to get with the headline. Sometimes they'll, be a little bit more reserved, a little bit more closed off, but he went out of his way to feel welcoming to us and make sure we were taken care of. And I feel like
good. I was going to ask. Sorry.
Yeah, he had that slow climb to where he's at now. And so I feel like he is appreciative of every step of that climb, and so he takes care of those that go out on the road with him, and I appreciate that. He's a really good guy.
That's good. I was going to ask who's the nicest person you work with, and you've answered it there. It's good when people recognize the people who are coming behind them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, Dylan, let's get down to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's your vegan story?
That's a great question. Okay, so for me, this started. I didn't grow up vegan. I wasn't familiar with vegan. I was just a kid, just making music, and I started having difficulties with my voice. And so this started as I was having inflammation in my vocal cords, and the doctor told me, hey, these are some things you can try cutting out to help your voice. One of those things was dairy. And so I cut out milk, I cut out cheese, I cut out all of these things from my diet, and everything changed.
Wow.
And so from that point, 2013, I have not, it's been over a decade now, I haven't had any of that stuff at all. But that's not what it's about for me at all nowadays. So for let me continue that process. So here's touring was very heavy for us from probably 2014 on. And when you go out on the road and you're living a fast-paced life, it is very hard to sometimes find quality food and quality. Well, at the time, I was still eating meat, so finding stuff that wouldn't upset your stomach, stuff that wouldn't make you feel like crap. And I started dabbling in the land of tofu. I wasn't familiar with it at the time. Like I never had it growing up. And it was something that started coming into my life more and more. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this tofu option. And it started taking over my day-to-day meal routine. I was like, you know what? I'm going to opt for this tofu option. I think that this is delicious. And there came a point, I would say around 2016, 2017, where I started really thinking about the decisions I was making by cutting out these things. And was music really the reason that I was cutting those out? Because I've always been a huge animal lover, but I started really getting exposed to the cruelty behind these industries. And it's devastating, it's heartbreaking, and I don't know how anyone that sees this stuff could ever eat meat again or could ever have these dairy products again. Horrendous, the things that like I feel like all I had to see was one video and everything changed for me. And that's 100%, right? That's 100%. 2018, I went 100% vegan, like down to honey. I know some vegans are like on the fence about that one. I'm 100% vegan in every aspect since 2018, and it is 100% for the animals now. And that's it's my dream to one day open a sanctuary and just save as many animals as possible. So I don't know, I feel like there's a switch that flipped for me right around that 2016 2017 period where the reasoning behind why I do this has changed. And I think prior to that I was doing it for musical reasons, but I wasn't aware of all that was going on in the industry. And so once I was, there was no turning back. And now here we are, 2024, and I wouldn't change it for a thing. I wouldn't change, you know. It always amazes me when someone says, I used to be vegan. I'm like, how do you become not vegan? Like, how do you do that and then start eating meat again or start having dairy?
How can you forget all the things that you've seen and all the things that you've read? I can't. How can you put that out of your head?
Yeah, someone said that to me literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and like that's all I could think about. I was like, how? I don't know. I wonder if they never saw those videos and it was like or if they're not aware of, maybe they just went vegan as like for health benefits or something. I don't know.
Well, they just did it as a fad.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was like, I'll try this out for a laugh. I won't delve into it too much. I'll just do it for a giggle.
Yeah, I'll try this plant-based diet because they keep telling me how good it is for me.
Yeah.
And that's it. But that's all it is, just a diet. That's the way that they see it. And it's just like doing the Atkins diet or what's the other one? Keto, is it?
Keto,
it's just a faddy diet that it isn't going to be a long-term solution to anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for that. So what's been the biggest struggle?
The biggest struggle for me, it's an emotional struggle. Because I do follow a lot of accounts that share just stories that you feel so emotional about, and you want to feel like you could help every single thing that's out there in the world. I feel pulled to, I see a story of a dog, or I see a story of, God, the ones that get me the most are the pigs. Like I see a video of a pig that's just laying with all these other pigs and just zoomed in on their face, and they're headed to the slaughterhouse, and it kills me every time. It's an emotional battle because I want to save them all. Like I said, someday I want to start an animal sanctuary where I can just save as many of them and they can just live out their best lives on our, get as many acres as possible and just let them live out their days as happy and, you know, happy as they can be. And that's what I would say is the biggest struggle for me.
Yeah. Me and the family were away last week down in Cornwall, which is like the chin bit of England, but down at the bottom left.
I've never heard it called
the chin.
Well, Wales and Cornwall looks like a face, so Cornwall looks like a chin. Anyway, and it was we were camping on a. It was sort of a farm.
Yeah.
Sort of. But they got like a couple of horses, a sheep, and an alpaca running up and down this this like wooded area. Anyway, my little girl kept wanting to go and see the horses, and I was stood there with her, and I just just stood at the fence, just looking at them. And I'm thinking, I can't believe I used to eat animals. This is just shit. And it was just that thing like you were saying about pigs.
Yeah.
I'm just stood there next to them, and you can see the muscles, and you can look in their eyes, and I'm just there going, why did I used to do that? What possessed me to do something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I see people, especially being in the genre of country, there is, I feel like it's a different lifestyle. There's a lot of things in the country lifestyle that involve cruelty that I feel like people that are posting them, maybe, I don't know how aware they are of what they're doing, but I can't, it's so hard for me to see past it. I mean, the biggest one is hunting. Like I can't.
I had to
posting
stop
a picture
following.
of like, oh, like this is my trophy I just murdered. You're like, what?
Yeah. I had to stop following Luke Combs.
I've never thought of asking this before with other American guests.
Yeah.
But like, rodeos are a big thing out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Sanity.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Look at me riding on the back of a cow trying to stop it from bucking. Just don't get on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big thing. Some of the artists that I follow have performed at rodeos and stuff like that recently, and you're like, oh, no,
yeah. There's all. It's, and I feel like because genres are kind of melding, like it's becoming a more diverse country genre. And I'm not even saying I'm like a country pop artist or anything. Like my influences are like Tom Petty and Bruce Springsteen and everything. But I feel like some of those traditional country values are not vegan friendly. And so I'm, God, I like what I hope with these, with like the melding of genres is almost like a melting pot of values. That, you know, maybe people that do go to rodeos or do hunt, maybe the fact that people are coming like me or coming into the country genre and as a vegan, maybe like, you know, I put that in my bio for a reason, because I'm sure there's people that are going to instantly be like, he's vegan, you know, like there's always those people. But I'm hoping, you know, the more exposure, and this is what I love about the food industry, just kind of like it's becoming a trend, but I feel like it's also, it's raising awareness. Like you're seeing the word vegan or the word plant-based, like all over the place now, which I think is amazing because it's allowing more people to find out about veganism and find out about, you know, maybe the chances are high, you know, if they see a video about Impossible Burgers, maybe they'll see some horrific video that changes their way that they see animals going forward. So my hope is that more and more people get exposed to the cruelty of the practices in the industry and start to show compassion towards not just dogs and cats, but all of the other animals of the world.
What did your friends and family think when you changed?
Everyone's been pretty supportive. I feel like there's always people that that will make jokes about, well, what are you gonna? I mean, we've all heard all heard the cliches, like, are you eating that fake meat, or whatever you want to. I'm sure there's one that comes to mind for everybody. But I would say for the most part, I haven't had any. I've been at it for so long that I feel like everyone that I know, I haven't had any like backlash or anything from it, which I think is awesome. Even if I did, like, I have so many reasons to defend why I do what I do, and I don't know. I don't know why. I always see, like, on posts, like, I feel like people are always quick to post like anti, like, oh, like for every block of tofu, I'm gonna eat 2 steaks. Like, what? Like, why do you feel the need to do that?
That is really bizarre, isn't it? Really bizarre. Do you think they go on, say, I don't know, do they go on like a gay person's post and say, right, for every man you sleep with, I'm going to sleep with 2 women?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's so weird. And it's very one-sided too. Because, I don't know. I don't see us saying, for every steak you eat, we're going to eat 2 blocks of tofu.
Doing that. Yes. Every post of someone who's holding a fish or something, right? For every fish you catch, I'm going to catch 2 blocks of tofu or something.
Yeah. I'm going to eat another apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Carnage. I'm going to eat another olive.
It's so wild.
Oh my God, that is funny. Okay. So, Dylan, what's the best thing about being vegan?
Knowing.
Apart from your beard.
That's what happens when you go vegan. You get a nice, yeah. For all you guys, for all you men out there considering going vegan, there you go. I feel like I've already said this, but for me, the best part about being vegan is knowing that I am saving. I don't know what the statistic is of how many lives I save a year, but knowing that every meal I take is one less harm being inflicted on an animal out there, one less life being taken, and that adds up over time. Think about exponentially, like the more people that dive into veganism, I mean, it's as simple as that. The more people that dive into it, the less cruelty there's going to be.
100%.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing for me.
What's your favorite vegan product at the moment? Anything? Food, beard, oil?
Yeah, good question. I'm a simple man. I like I love just like a block of tofu.
Oh, I love that.
But I will say,
straight out the packet.
I can't either. I can just cut that thing up and just eat the blocks. I don't even have to like pan fry them or anything. Yeah, just grab the whole block and just eat it like a sandwich.
That would be grim,
man. The incredible thing is there's so many great products coming out now. I feel like it's almost an overwhelming amount. To where I feel like when I started veganism, there was usually like 1 or 2 options at the store. Like here in the States, there was like 1 option for a dairy-free cheese, and now there's more than I can count. I could probably name at least a dozen brands out there, and so I feel like it's so great that there's opportunities for so many brands to be popping up left and right that are putting this food in the mainstream that is going to expose it to people that aren't vegan. Even though, like, we love trying all of these different types of vegan food that are out there, but I feel like I love just as much as I can. I love eating just like whole foods, not like processed junk that's out there. But I feel like that there's so many things on the market right now that are exposing meat eaters and people that shoot. Like, what movie did I just see the other day? I saw the new Despicable Me. You guys see that one yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning, Brew comes home from the store and he pulls out all the different types of milk that he bought at the store. He's like, I bought almond milk, I bought hemp milk, I bought coconut milk, I bought oat milk. He's just pulling them all out. I think stuff like that is so awesome. Granted, I didn't like the response that the mom made after. She's like, where's the regular milk?
Yeah.
But that being said, there's like, what are you talking about, regular milk? You mean the milk from a cow? Cow's milk? There's no regular milk.
I had that experience at the weekend, and I did parkrun with my sister. It was her first time. And, afterwards, we went to a vegan cafe, where we went to the Ark in Northampton, and we ordered. And I said, I'll have a oat cappuccino, and she said to Emma behind the counter, she said, "Have you got coconut milk?" And she said, "No, we've got oat, almond, or soy." And my sister said, "I'll just have normal." And I looked at her and I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's all normal. Everything's normal here. She was like, "I mean oat." And then she got really embarrassed because she thought she'd offended. She thought she'd offended everybody.
Did they have a normal? You said it was a vegan cafe. Did they have a normal?
Yeah, so it was literally oat, almond, or soy. That was it. So there was no cow's milk there. So it was brilliant.
I love that.
Yeah,
There's actually, I can't remember the name of the chain here, but they, like, the change I feel like is happening more and more. Like, there was a big coffee chain here. Granted, Starbucks has not done it yet, but there is, I wish I knew the name of which one it was. They made their regular oat milk. So if you just ordered a coffee, you get it with oat milk. You don't get it with
the go-to milk.
If you don't say anything, you're going to get oat milk, which I thought was amazing.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, awesome. For those of you wondering which one it is, I'm sure if you Google it, you can find the. I can't remember which one it is, but I think changes like that are so incredible. Here we're still trying to get Starbucks to make it so you don't have to pay extra.
I know.
Yeah.
Why are you paying extra? Like, for who knew that it was cheaper to
that's
farm animals? Yeah. That's wild.
Stumptown? Is that a thing?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Stumptown is the latest coffee chain to make oat milk the default.
Yeah, I love that.
That's incredible.
I hope more chains follow suit and start doing stuff like that, because I thought that was so amazing.
Yeah. And while we're on facts, going on PETA, PETA.org, vegan saves nearly 200 animals per year.
That's amazing. Wow.
That's I'm not gonna do it, but 200 animals a year is pretty good, to be fair. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I've been wondering that. I haven't got around to Googling it, so that's a powerful number.
It is.
Tremendous.
Okay, what advice would you give to anyone who's thinking about going vegan?
Me and my wife have this conversation all the time, because I'm always on the more approach of I'm always on the more like aggressive approach, and she's like, you gotta win them with kindness. You gotta approach it like tenderly. And I'm like, I get so frustrated with just like any cruelty out there. So I'm like, there's a okay. The wheels keep turning in my head. Before I get to what I was about to say, what would I say? I think a great comparison is comparing it to a dog. Like anything you're eating. Like, what's the difference? Because everyone loves dogs, or like most people love dogs. I don't know. Every now and then I realize I don't like dogs. What are you talking about? what I was getting to was there's an account that I follow that is a pretend meat company. I don't know if you've seen this account before. It's called Elwood's Dog Meat.
Yes.
Yep. I love that account so much.
It's absolutely, it's just genius.
It's amazing.
Absolutely
Yeah.
genius.
And I feel like that approach is, I've seen people I know they've made some posts of people like really getting mad about it, but I feel like it's making its point so much through that. It's showing like the hypocrisy from what's the difference, right? What's the difference between a pig and a dog? I feel like that is such a strong point to make that, I don't know. That's what I would go to.
Yeah. That is a good place to start, I think, because there's a lot of information once you get past the initial shock of what the hell is this website but then there's actually a lot of information there, and then further links that you can find out other stuff. So it's a great resource.
Who's your vegan inspiration?
Ooh, it's a good question. I actually don't know if I have one. There was a show my wife and I watched on Netflix a couple years ago with a guy. It was with Zac Efron and Darren O'Lean. Have you guys seen that show where they travel the world and were like kind of showing you about environmental impacts and how to, kind of turn back the clock on the damage that we've done to the world. And just kind of raising awareness. Anyways, they would, dabble in the culture of all these different parts of the world. I can't remember the name of the show. I keep forgetting things. But they would dabble in these cultures, and Darren, everywhere that they would go, like, he's vegan. And so I feel like through that show, because that was a very popular show on Netflix, it raised a lot of awareness to people that aren't vegan. That's like another opportunity for them to be exposed to that. And so I thought it was really cool that everywhere that they went, Zach would get the meat option, and then he would get the vegan option. And so it was always incorporated into the show. And I think that I think that's inspirational for me, because that's something that I would love to. I already feel like I have enough inspiration myself to stay vegan for 100 lifetimes. But for me now, it's about how can I use my platform to raise awareness for other people to make the switch. So that's inspirational for me, because it's like he's out there and he's letting people know like what it is, and how you can better not only yourself. I know some people do veganism for their health, but for me, hands down, animals all day long. So yeah, I would say that's a good influence for me.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Was it called Down to Earth?
Yep, that's the one.
Yes. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's a really good one, because that shows that vegans can eat just as well as normal people. In air quotes.
Normal.
Yeah, but
what is normal? Like what?
But it means that being vegan, you don't have to shut yourself away and just eat by yourself. You can still go out if you want to with. You can still go out with the friends that you had before and eat a really good meal. You just don't eat what they eat. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like the same. Like, I also don't drink. I haven't for about the same amount of time. Thank you. Yeah, I would say probably since I've been 21, I haven't touched anything. And so it's the same thing. You go out, especially being a musician, you're always out playing at bars and clubs, and like there's always like, can I get you a drink, or like get a beer, and there's a lot of alternative options in that industry too now, with there's like so many brands coming out with mocktails and everything, where it's encouraging people to not feel like they have to get drunk to have a good time.
Yes,
I don't know. I feel like we're in a really pivotal moment in time where there's a lot of change happening. And because we're in the moment, maybe we're not seeing it like on a day-to-day basis, but I feel like if you look back at where we are now to compared to a couple years ago, there's been a lot of changes in these industries that I feel like I don't know. I think we're on the up.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's it. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I try to stay positive with it. It's hard to, when you see all the cruelty out there, it's hard to.
This is it. And
yeah,
there's always things where just when you think progress is being made, and then you find some new scandal that's erupted with animal abuse going on, or they've found some new super efficient way to kill even more animals every day, and you're just like, oh my god, where are we going with this? So frustrating. Okay, what's your favorite vegan venue or restaurant? What's the scene like in Nashville? The vegan scene.
Oh, Nashville's a great vegan city. There's so much good stuff here, and I feel like there's more and more opening. Wow. Couple great spots here in town. There's a place called Beehive that makes their own vegan meats and vegan cheeses and everything. It's all done in-house. And not only that, but they source it out to different places. Like they sell them in stores and stuff as well to other local restaurants will use Beehive's vegan meats and everything. They're delicious. They do sandwiches and milkshakes and for any American. Do you guys have Taco Bell over there?
We know about it.
Oh, there's a few. Okay. Not many. There's a handful, I think. Yeah.
They have something called a Crunch Wrap. That's like a Taco Bell signature thing. They make a mean vegan Crunch Wrap. It's got vegan meat, vegan cheese, the whole 9 yards. It's so good. Recommend it to anyone. They also got a breakfast Crunch Wrap there that's like vegan egg, vegan bacon. It's like breakfast in a Crunch Wrap is basically like a tostada shell, and then you put you put some of the ingredients on one side, you put some of the other ingredients on the other, and then you wrap it up in a tortilla and grill it. Good. So but no, Beehive's good. Sunflower Cafe is good. We have a place called Avo that's delicious. We have a place called Gray's that's delicious. We have a vegan ice cream place called Coco's that is one of the best ice creams I've ever had. They're delicious. The options are endless, man. I feel like, so one of the big things in Nashville is everyone's like, when you come to Nashville, you got to get the barbecue and you got to get the hot chicken. Those are like Nashville staples. And so I feel like my hope is that in the next couple years that one of those places starts to introduce a vegan alternative to that. I think that would be incredible because as a vegan, I can't set foot in those places, man. It's terrible, but there is some great vegan restaurants that are doing alternatives to those, which I think is amazing. I think the next step is bringing those into the normal restaurants, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's it. Getting that crossover so that, so you get that, like you were saying with Zac Efron and the other guy, people sitting together and meat eaters looking at a vegan eating and thinking, actually, do you know what? That looks all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then hopefully, like the milk industry over here, like if you go to the grocery store now, I feel like it's like 50-50 split. You have 50% normal milk and 50% like all the different types of other milks out there. So that would be like the next step that I would hope for the mainstream is maybe it becomes, where you don't just have one option on the menu at a restaurant. Like, right now it's like you go to the normal restaurant and you're like, well, your option's the Impossible Burger.
Oh yeah.
Take off the cheese because the cheese is normal.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get like this, like I go some places and you get like 3 or 4 options. It's like the vegan vegetarian section. So hopefully that will continue to grow and become like a 50-50 split. And then people will start dabbling in that more and more, and who knows where he could be like 20 years from now. Maybe it will be more vegan than not.
Hopefully.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be amazing. And I don't know if I'm reaching for the stars, but
well, it's good to be looking up at the stars than down at the gutter. So I like that.
Yeah.
And on that subject, we see the link there.
Well done, Wes. Well done.
We started asking this question when we were both feeling a little bit. We get this quite a lot, but feeling like it's all going to rat shit and we're not going to get anywhere with this and we're all fucked. So the term dystopia, living in a world of carnists, and the despair that we feel. Do you have? You talked about positivity earlier on. You revel in positivity, but do you have hope that things are going to get better?
I do. I feel like through my songwriting, it helps me stay in that mindset, because it's so easy to get pulled into a state of everything's getting worse. Like you see these terrible things, and you're like, how can I do something that helps this? It's very hard. It's very easy to get into that mindset. So through my songwriting, I feel like I've practiced. It helps me to pull out of that headspace, and I feel like when you're in that positive mindset, you get a lot more accomplished than even through the approach of trying to. And this is what my wife kind of tries to get me to hint at. You can't get these people to change through the negativity of whether it's almost like you have to approach it in a positive way. Because I would be like, think of all these animals you're killing. Like that would be my approach to getting someone to change. Whereas she would be like, all animals you're saving,
Yes. Yeah. But the thing is, different things work with different people, don't they? And it's finding that. The trouble is you have to work it out for everybody, which is really time consuming.
Yeah.
If we're one person in a world of 8 billion, and on an individual level we're saving 200 animals a year, then what we're doing our bit just by not adding to it, aren't we? That's
That is so true.
You mentioned earlier on actually about you feel like we're on and up. We're starting to sort of pull out things. Have you seen there's a thing on YouTube? If you put a search in YouTube and look for the fourth turning, it's a 10-minute video about how every 40 years there's like a cycle of like peaks and troughs, like societally.
Okay.
So the last time that it was in a low was at the end of the Second World War and the Vietnam War and stuff, and then it started coming out of that with like your Hendrixes and your Dylans and your Beatles, and it sort of fluctuates by coming out of those things where there's some hope, and then it's really good for a bit, and then it starts to come down again. And basically what this video says is that we're currently at the bottom of the trough and we're starting to come back out of it. Now, it could be another 4 years, it could be another 6 years or so.
Yeah.
But not science, but this study shows that we should be starting to come out of that again. The one before the Second World War was the American Civil War. Was it the American Civil War?
Yep. Yeah.
Which was like the late 1800s. So these cycles they seem to have gone back in history, and it's like if we are on a positive upturn at the minute, then bring it on.
Yes, I would love that.
So yeah, check. It's on YouTube. Just search for the fourth turning. It's called.
Okay.
Perfect.
Dylan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to talk to somebody else who is interested in country music for a start, because I've never found anyone over here.
I'll try and get into it. Okay,
I'll send you some songs.
I'll just listen to Dylan. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's
Dylan. I mean, this Dylan, not that old bloke.
Not that old bloke. Not Bob Dylan. Listen to our Dylan. Magic, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the Grand Ole Opry soon.
Yes, let's make it happen.
That would be awesome. Yeah, all power to you. So, sorry, I mentioned the new singles just come out. What's the plan next? Is there another album in the works?
Yeah, we're in the process of getting probably another 3 or 4 songs out by the end of the year. So, yeah, we're just kind of stacking a new album for you guys right now. So like, I would say a song like every 8-9 weeks or so.
Ooh, that's
And
a
then
lot.
that'll eventually lead into an album in 2025.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll look forward to it.
And by then, I will be a country music fan.
Yes.
Next time you see Wes, he'll have the hat.
One song at a time.
Coffee with milk, please.
We only have plant milk. Is that okay?
Stop! It's not okay. And if something like this has happened to you, you need to call me, Seymour Loudermilk, right now. If you've had your feelings hurt by a vegan, you could be entitled to compensation.
Oat milk, soy milk, almond milk?
No thanks. I'll have louder milk. And I'll see you in court.
Get more with Seymour. Call 866-HATE-VEGANS. HateVegans.com.
There we go. Finally managed to get somebody to talk to me about country music without telling me that I'm backwards or something like that. Honestly,
I genuinely will start. One of my mates goes on at me about listening to country music, and I don't.
Other than me?
Other than you, yeah. Clyde.
Really?
Yeah, he loves it. He is a massive country music fan. So I have a Spotify playlist, which is whenever somebody says to me, "Why have you never listened to them?" I go on Spotify and go on to this is that band.
Yeah.
And I put that into my playlist. The latest one, Wu-Tang Clan.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like
that is different to country music, but good nonetheless.
And metal. So it's like it's really obscure, but there's all sorts of shit on there. But it goes from Wu-Tang Clan to Slipknot to Genesis to Bob Marley. It's like obscene when it's being played. Anyway, so I will bang Dylan on there, and I will chuck some other stuff if you want to send me something over, and I will listen to some country music, and then you can talk to me about country music. Okay.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to have a careful think about it because there's different kind of subgenres of country music. So there's like bro country that was really popular over the last few years, where all the sort of male music stars would all be on about, going out hunting and drinking and speeding in their cars and stuff like that. Didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
I prefer the female voices, and I don't really know why that is, but I prefer the female voices like Carly Pearce, Miranda Lambert. Yeah, but I'll send you a few through and take your pick.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'll just chuck it on this playlist, and then it will just come up randomly, and it's all good. But Dylan's
and of course,
lovely.
you've got a massive history as well. You've got back to Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
the ultimate country artist. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, magic. So awesome. Thank you, listener, for joining us today. Hope you've enjoyed that. And we'll link to Dylan's Spotify on our link tree. And what else will we do? Everything else will be in the show notes. Enjoy.
It's been fun. I enjoyed that.
Magic.
I generally enjoy them, to be fair. I always say that, but they're fun.
It is, isn't it? It is good fun. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Take care. Bye.